I'm Holopinzer. I've always been a huge fan of Super Smash Bros. It is the first game I ever played on the Nintendo 64, and I've loved every game in that series since. But as much as I like fighting games, platform fighters haven't had much other than Smash Bros. That really could hold up. That being said, the upcoming Multiversus does look like it's very promising, and based on everything I've heard, I am looking forward to this game a lot. Especially, it's free to play, so why not try it out? But I thought I'd take this time to go over my personal top 10 characters that I hope to see added to the roster. Now, the roster is already looking amazing, and based on some data mines from the betas and such, I'm just excited for what's coming. These are just 10 characters I really would love to see added at some point down the line. And I will also just mention there is one character that I will not be discussing on this list that I do really want in the game, and that's Ben 10. Because I see a lot of people thinking like of movesets where it's just Ben and then he turns to aliens for different attacks. I would want to see either his aliens being added as individual characters themselves, or something akin to Pokemon Trainer from Smash Bros., where they would pick like 3 aliens that he could alternate between. That being said, I will be making a whole separate video for which aliens I'd love to see added to Multiversus from Ben 10. This is just everything else then, and let's get into the list. At the number 10 slot, we got Mojo Jojo. Now, we don't have a lot of villains on this roster yet, the only ones sort of being the Tasmanian Devil and Harley Quinn, who aren't really that villainous. So, well, this character is completely goofy. He is one of the villains I absolutely want to see added to this roster. I hope we get a lot more as well, but Mojo Jojo is just iconic. Obviously, the Powerpuff Girls would make for excellent additions as well, but if we only got one character from that franchise, I kind of would prefer it to be this one. And with this game getting as much support as it looks like it will, I would be baffled if he never makes the roster, honestly. In the number 9 slot is Batman Beyond, and Terry McGinnis is just such a cool addition to the DC universe as a whole, and honestly, that show still holds up so well, and I would just love to see this character added. He would be really cool. He could just be a skin for the Batman that we already have in the game. They've done that in Injustice and it works okay, but it would be way cooler to see them give him his own moveset based on like the tech and such that he has in the future. Regardless, either way, it would be fun just to be able to play as Batman Beyond, because that suit will always be one of the coolest bat suits. On to number 8, and we have Ice Bear. Now, We Bear Bears is one of those shows that I was incredibly skeptical of when I first saw it announced, and I gave it a watch, and it was actually very funny, very clever, and in my personal opinion, the highlight of the show is definitely Ice Bear. The way he talks, the way he acts, and of the 3, he definitely fits in a fighting game. Like, you give him his axe, and yeah, he's gonna do some damage. He's a terrifying combatant, and the fact that this game has full voice acting would make Ice Bear so much funnier. Like, just imagine hitting Shaggy off into oblivion and then Ice Bear has ended you. I don't know, it's just really fun to think about, because definitely a great character. At number 7, we have Princess Bubblegum. Adventure Time already has representation with both Finn and Jake, but it is such a good show that it would be kind of a shame to end it there. The show also went on for a very long time, so I'd be kind of shocked if that's all we got in the entire lifespan of this game. And, well, other characters like Ice King or Marceline would make for excellent third reps. Personally, PB is my choice. I love her design, I love her attitude, and I think she has a lot of moveset potential with a lot of the gadgets and things and the candy people that she could potentially summon to the field. There's definitely a lot of fun that could be had with her. My number 6 slot is sort of a 2-for-1. Now, both characters would pretty much have to be added. You couldn't do one without the other, but you could do them together as a single slot like Tom and Jerry, or you could separate them out, and that's Mordecai and Rigby. Regular Show is one of those shows that probably worked a little better than it ever should have. The humor was just great, it was very funny. A lot of relatable situations taken to ridiculous extremes, and after all the years of fighting that these two characters did, they definitely have moveset potential. And again, you could just play as like Mordecai and have Rigby run around like helping out with moves, or they could be their own fighters. But either way, these are two that I definitely hope we get to see. Going into the top 5, I have maybe a little bit of a weird pick, but Aya from the Green Lantern animated series. Honestly, I love any of the characters from that show, but Aya was always my favorite. I loved her design. She looks just great and has a very fun personality and concept behind her. Also, with what happens in Season 2, you definitely have alternate costume potential, and, well, it could be a very fun thing to play with the kind of ongoing arc that DC has with her of kind of popping up in other universes where she probably shouldn't be, and Multiversus would definitely be a fun place to continue her story. In the number 4 slot is Kelsey. Craig of the Creek is one of the best new shows. It has so much heart and so much charm. It captures that feeling of being a kid, and I mean, I don't know any kids that have as advanced a child society as the kids in that show, but oh my gosh, do I wish that I had grown up in a neighborhood like that. That would have been fun. And of the characters of that show, well, any of them could work for a game like this. Kelsey is a warrior, she has her PVC sword, and sees herself as this gallant knight that wants to do battle, and the interaction she could have with characters like Arya Stark and Finn the Human, and just any of these warriors, or we already know that characters like Gandalf are coming, so just imagining her challenging this wizard to a fight and she's holding a piece of PVC pipe in her hands. But she has all the confidence of a seasoned warrior. It would be so fun to see. I really do hope we see her make it to this game. Moving on to number 3, you'll notice that all these characters have been Cartoon Network characters, and that's just because that's really the way I interact with WB the most. And the only other characters that I really want to see in this game primarily are DC characters, and even most of those, it's their iteration from a Cartoon Network show that I would want to see. But this slot is the one exception to that, and that is Thorin Oakenshield. I actually really loved the Hobbit movies. I know a lot of people gave them crap, but they were just a fun ride. They were very enjoyable. I do agree there was maybe some stuff that was a little strange, but overall, I just really thought they were excellent movies and an excellent addition to that franchise. And Thorin is such a cool character, and I would just love to see him particularly added to this game. Again, we already know that characters like Gandalf are coming, so we got that representation, and I would love to see other Lord of the Rings characters, because there's a lot of potential. But I want Hobbit to get its fair due, and I feel like Thorin is the best pick. And number 2 is Starfire. I expect to see all 5 Teen Titans from the show added. They are incredibly popular characters. That show was very well done and very nostalgic for so many of us. And I have to emphasize, original series, not Go. They could add Go as their own separate characters, but they are not the Teen Titans that we want for this game. We want the original ones, and personally, Starfire is just my favorite. I just love this character so much, and would love to see her added to this game. I would probably main Starfire if she was added. definitely a character that I look forward to playing, because again, I assume all 5 Teen Titans will at some point make it, whether or not they are early game or if we have to wait a while. I'll wait for Starfire if I have to, but she is the one that I'm looking forward to the most of those. Now, before I move on to number 1, a few honorable mentions, starting with Barack. Barack's been in lots of different shows, from different Space Ghost properties to his own show on Adult Swim, and then he's hosted different segments of old cartoons for Cartoon Network. He is a goofy, ridiculous character that I would be shocked to see, but he's just hilarious, so I have to mention him. Mau Mau. That show is hilarious, and this character is high-speed action. He would be such an excellent fit. I'd love to see him going up against characters like Batman, and yeah, he would be fun. Lobo. Again, other than Cartoon Network, I mostly interact with WB through the DC universe, and Lobo is a character that I think would be really fun in a platform fighter, with his hook, his guns, his just maybe riding around on a motorcycle, kind of Wario-like. I think he'd be entertaining. Razor. I directly said that I would like any of the characters from the Green Lantern animated series, and I'd like to see Aya's story continued, and you can't really continue her story without the one that's searching for her, and Razor is just an excellent character, and definitely after what happened with him and Young Justice has some alternate costume potential as well, which is fun. And then Miss Martian. I absolutely love Young Justice, and Miss Martian has been a favorite of mine since season 1, and just would be really fun to see how they'd interpret her. But speaking of Young Justice, at number 1 is Aqualad. Young Justice has blown me away. It is easily one of my very favorite shows, and I want to see it represented. There are so many amazing options, you probably really couldn't go wrong with any of them. Superboy would be incredibly fun. Artemis and Miss Martian are definitely favorites of mine. Forager from season 3 and 4 would be so fun to play. But Aqualad is sort of the face, in my opinion. He is the central figure of that show, and he represents it best. Plus, he would have a really cool moveset, he would be fun to play, and he has some really cool outfits from across the series, whether that's his season 1 outfit, where he was just starting out as a sidekick, in season 2, where he's kind of an antagonist, or his season 3 outfit, where he's taken up the mantle of Aquaman. He has so much potential, and would be just really cool to see. And as much as I would love to see all the characters on this list, Young Justice representation is probably the thing that I personally want the most, and Aqualad is the character that I think should be the one to do that if we don't get multiple, because obviously I'd love the whole team. Like, if they just added as many characters as they wanted from that show, I'd be very happy, but he's the one I feel they need. But I'm just very much looking forward to this game. It looks like it's going to be an incredible experience, and let me know who you want. Give me your top few characters from WB franchises that you want to see playable in Multiverses, that you want to see throwing down with Batman, Shaggy, Garnet, the Iron Giant. And again, I will also be making a second Multiverses video talking about specifically Ben 10 aliens. That should be coming pretty soon, and I hope you'll join me for that, and join me for any other videos in the future. Let's get discussion going about this game, because it finally looks like we have another amazing platform fighter coming, and I'm ecstatic about this. Let me know who you want, and we'll see you guys next time.